Today is a day we're getting stuff done. Oh yeah, haircut. Yeah, it's a really short, but it's gonna grow back out. So that's all I can think about. Look at that. We want to pick all the tomatoes that are ripe, and we also want to try to get the rest of the landscape fabric on the garden expansion. Yesterday we took the lawn tractor and cut down all the weeds, and now today we're gonna put those tarps on there and try to get that grass killed by next year. Grab my coffee and I'll see you in the garden. This is so heavy. Oh, I'm gonna drop my coffee too. I probably could have done 2 trips, but I'm stubborn, so we're gonna do it like this. We did this landscape fabric probably a few months ago now, and we weren't exactly sure what we were going to do up here because eventually we're going to put a road through here, but it's looking now like that's not going to happen for at least another year. So we're going to cover it up with landscape fabric for now. I'm going to run in and grab a sweater. It's chilly, pretty chilly out here this morning. I would say it's probably 10 degrees Celsius. It's 4 degrees. We'll get up to 18. So we're going to go grab a sweater, which is why we need to focus a little bit on harvesting the stuff in the garden. So today we're going to harvest these tomatoes right here. Anything that's ripe, anything that's not ripe, we're going to just leave it on there until we have a risk of frost, and then we'll pick them. I'm a big fan of letting the tomatoes get ripe on the vine as opposed to letting them ripen on my table, because when they get inside and get on my table, there's way more chance that those are going to end up in the compost, honestly. I like to be able to pick the thing and then deal with it in the kitchen that day or the day after. If it sits any longer than that, it just kind of sits there. I feel horrible about it, but with a busy life, that's what happens, I guess.
Love a stainless steel countertop. This is one of my favorite parts of our garden. For those of you who have been following along, you'll know that a local shop that sold growing supplies went out of business, and we bought all of their remaining seeds. So we got 10 different varieties, I believe 10 different varieties of tomatoes, most of which we've never tried before, and it's time to harvest. Everything did amazing this year. We didn't do as well for volume of tomatoes, but the size and quality of the tomatoes we got are amazing. So let's start harvesting. Stoneridge tomato. Now this is one of the varieties that we've never grown before. It's not a huge tomato. It's got a nice green crown on it. We're excited to try. This one's a pretty good producer. Looks like we've got a few more to harvest in a couple of days, up to a week. We'll see what we get. So the next one on the harvest list is the Cherokee Purple. Now this was an early ripening variety, so we have tried this one, But when we get into cutting them open, we'll show you what the inside looks like. Now, this one was a pretty good producer. We've probably had 6 or 7 off of it so far. And I see two more that are ripe to take off. Now, these tomatoes have beautiful color, and they're very sweet and tasty. The next variety is the Kellogg Breakfast. Now, this is one we've grown before, but the results this year are amazing. They're huge. I'll show you. They're massive and beautiful color. So the next one over here is another new variety. It's called Upstate Oxheart, another variety we've never grown before. It looks like a massive paste tomato. We only got a couple, not a real good producer, but we have one that's almost ready on the vine, but I think we're going to let that one go for a couple days. So maybe we'll update and cut one open when we do take it down and add it in here. So moving on is our Mikado. This has been a really good producer, very good tomato. We've tried this one as well. Another really great size tomato. This is actually a couple, and there's one more on there I think I'm going to take today. Just beautiful tomatoes. Okay, the next one is another new variety. This is a pineapple, it's called. Also a beefsteak variety, large fruit. And I don't think we've tried this one yet, so I'm excited to try it. Very nice color. When we look this up, it looks like it is red and yellow striped or starburst on the inside, so I'm excited to see what this one looks like on the inside. The next variety is New Yorker. This one is another new one this year, and we have harvested quite a few, and there's so many more. It's probably been our best producer, but it makes the smallest tomatoes. Oh, we got a traveler on there. A little smaller tomato, but the flavor in them is amazing. And when I said these were prolific, I wasn't joking. Now, the next variety, another new variety, is Green Zebra. They're beautiful green tomato. It turns a little bit yellow when they ripe, but they have darker green stripes on them. So let's have a look. So that's the Green Zebra. You can see how they yellow up just a little bit on the top, but this is fully ripe. And they're a pretty good producer, but again, smaller tomatoes. Next tomato, another new one, Summer Sunrise. Now, this is a large beefsteak. We have tried this one. Some of the earlier fruit didn't get very large before they ripened. So we have a couple of large ones now that are ripe, and I'm excited about this one. Even the small ones were delicious. So let's see what we get. Again, a large beefsteak style tomato. We do have a little bit of cracking on some of our tomatoes. We have had to water quite a bit. It's been very dry summer, and every time we water, we get a couple more cracks, but nothing that we can't eat around. Another beauty. And now the last of the new varieties is Goldie tomatoes. Also a very large tomato. We're very impressed. Robin amended this garden in the spring, and I think she used some seaweed or seafood compost and a little bit of compost from our composter, possibly a little bit of sheep manure. And the tomatoes we've got this year are definitely showing that. Again, not as abundant as other years, but the size and quality of the tomatoes this year has been amazing. Again, just massive tomatoes this year. Very impressed. Generally, we use these tomatoes to make tomato sandwiches. So if the diameter of the tomato is the same size as a slice of bread, we're happy. There's just a couple more of those to harvest. So we'll come back to this and probably harvest it again at least once more, maybe twice, and then we'll be done this year for tomato season. We have a pretty short season here, so we only get what we can get, and these are indeterminate. So this morning we went along, snipped the tops off of the plants to stop them from trying to grow new and focus on what was already on the vine. An amazing tomato harvest. That's a lot of tomatoes and a lot of big tomatoes. Now that begs the question, how many tomato sandwiches do we eat? Well, the answer is we eat quite a few this time of year because they're all coming ripe, but we can only eat so many. So our plan for these ones is we're going to cut into them and let you have a look at what the insides of all of them look like, because some of them are just beautiful. And then we're going to put them in a pan, and we're going to put them on the smoker and make a nice smoked tomato sauce out of this variety of tomatoes. And they're all very tasty, so I'm guessing it's going to be an amazing sauce. Cherokee purple. Kellogg's Breakfast. Beautiful. Mikado. New Yorker. Green Zebra. Summer Sunrise. Goldie. Pineapple. Beautiful. So this is what we've come up with. I saved a few of the big ones for slicers because we do like our tomato sandwiches. And then a couple of the ones that we haven't really tried yet. And these are the New Yorkers. And Robin has a friend at work who loves them, so we saved a bunch for him. And then this will be a sauce that we'll put on the smoker. I'm excited to see how that turns out. It's very colorful now.
While the tomatoes are on the smoker, we're going to work on the landscape fabric on the rest of the garden. So we have landscape fabric, we have some stakes, and then we also have some little toppers. I'll show you them in a second. Can you go grab those, hon? We're not 100% sure if those stakes are going to work or not because this area right where we're standing has a lot of rock and stone on it because back in the day, let's say 60 or 70 years ago, this used to be their farmer's road that they went to their back field on, and it was graveled. So there's a lot of gravel on this right now, so we might not be able to use these stakes, but we do have another option. So the ones that we used on the one that's already installed is we had these little plates with these landscape tacks, and they just go through there, and then you bang them down and they hold the tarp on like that. And these are working great where there's lawn, but we're thinking that those might not work where there is some gravel. So we also have an option to do these ones. They're about 6 inches, 6-inch stake here, and it's still plastic, so it still does bend. But if this doesn't work, we're going to go to a tent stake, a metal tent stake, but we're going to try these ones first. I think we're going to start with the first one coming right down here to try to bridge the gap between the garden and the existing landscape fabric. We're going to come here, and that will start our line off to go that way and to go that way. like, let's pull it over as far as we can this way. Yeah.
Start to get tender. Okay, we're gonna let those cook off for a little while longer, but they look amazing.
See this? That's what happens when it hits the rock. So we're gonna get a different one for this. Okay, let's move on to the next part.
All right, it's been a few minutes. We drained some of the clear liquid that came off the tomatoes to make them a little thicker, and it's time to take them off.
Well, that was a lot harder than we expected it to be. It took us longer to do that than it took us to do the entire field. This is all full of rocks. We're going to end up having to have some weight on it instead of using the spikes and the landscape tacks because they are just breaking and bending. So we're going to leave you here. Thank you so much for joining us on our tomato harvest, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good day. Bye.